Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hi, Dylan. Thank you for taking some time with us today. I was just wondering, in your own words, what does Clyde Edwards-Helaire bring to the table that maybe other backs that you guys have on the team wouldn't, and just what is some of his unique traits?
I like his short area quickness, his ability to make guys miss in short spaces. I like the fact that he makes the first guy miss either by just outright making him miss or by running through him. Probably the number one thing is I just like his disposition, his demeanor, his football mind. Very smart. Has been evident of what we've seen during the combine process and everything leading up to the draft. And he's not disappointed at all during the process with all the virtual meetings since then.
Okay, let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Dylan. Two-part question about Damien Williams. First of all, he's had some big moments for you guys, but not consistently over a long period of time. What tells you that he can still be that guy at this point of his career? And also, how did he take the news when he found out you guys were going to draft a running back in the first round?
Well, I mean, one thing is I'm looking at Damien's past. I think since coming to the Chiefs, we got a whole lot out of him. He's able to show not only us, but show anybody who looked at him previous that, I mean, he's a higher end player. Consistency is something he wants to continue to work on. But I think when he shined, at a level that helped us get over the hump in a few games and obviously helped us in winning the Super Bowl. As far as, how he reacted to, the drafting of Clyde, I mean, Damien is a competitor. So he's going to continue to do the things he needs to do and control what he can control, embracing guys and continue to move forward.
What does he have to do to show you that consistency that you talk about? Like, what's the next step for him in doing that?
Well, I mean, the one thing that was great, I know when we started our off-season program, Damien showed, great leadership, in the meetings, and the first thing he pointed out is the things he needs to do, just continue to be consistent. I think with it being his third year in the system, those are things that's going to happen. I think just listening to the way Damien spoke about himself and the things that we're doing and the things he's going to do to improve, I think just his maturation and his offense is going to be a big jump this year.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Dylan. Thanks for doing this. Good to see you. I have a two-part question. The first part is about as you're with Eric and Andy and even Mike Kafka trying to understand where the offense may go next, how fun or interesting has it been to not only understand what Clyde is getting from the playbook so far, but what you guys can sort of create with him and sort of what his role may be coming next year? And then secondly, you guys drafted a running back last year in Darwin Thompson, and I know he's been eager to sort of show himself in a different maybe opportunity or a different light in year two. Just what can you take from his performance in a limited role last year, and what are you guys sort of pointing him towards for year two?
Well, one thing is what I found out is just, everybody in this offense, all of the halfbacks need to be able to do everything. So they need to be able to do everything, and then we'll let everything sort itself out from there. So, Clyde, he's not going to be pigeonholed and then, hey, man, this guy's a third down back, or this guy's this, or this guy's that. He's going to take on everything that the offense has, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may. Same thing with Darwin. It's going to be an opportunity for him this year. Another guy I'm very excited about. He had a whole lot of things last year that didn't necessarily work against him. It was just the fact that he was a rookie. He had some limited opportunities. He did some things that was good. He did some things he needed to improve on. And he took, inventory of the things he needed to improve on, and he's ready to come out and do those things. So, again, a room full of great competitors, a bunch of great players, guys that can do a bunch of things. And the beauty of this is once we're able to get back on the field, we're going to be able to start sorting out where guys fall. But in the meantime, every man in that room is preparing to do everything.
Okay, let's go to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time here. Hope you're well.
You too.
Hey, we had Tyreek Hill a couple of weeks ago. We asked him about his excitement level of getting a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the offense, and he kind of compared his skill set to Darren Sproles.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you see in Clyde Edwards, and when you compare the two, do you see a lot of Darren Sproles in him as well?
Well, I mean, you start looking at stature and you start just, comparing guys to other people. I don't know. I mean, you see those, you look at the stature and the body build and everything. Yeah, you can start doing those things. But until I'm on get him on the field on this level, and we start doing some of the things we ask him to do on this level, I don't think that's a fair comparison until Clyde actually put his cleats on and put a Chiefs uniform on and go out there and start balling, which I expect him to do. And then we'll go from there.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
So headed into training camp, I think what's natural for a lot of us to do is just look at these battles, and you look at your room with Damian and Clyde and DeAndre and Daryl, and we mentioned Darwin. You've been coaching since 2011. I just was curious as to just where this competition is going to stand entering a camp like this, and is the purpose here to find a definite starter, or do you think it'll be comfortable to roll with this thing by committee?
Well, I don't know. I guess probably just like I said earlier, you want to get all these guys out there. You want to get going and see what we got. One thing we know is on, just looking at some guys' pass and the snapshots we got of guys, whether it be DeAndre at Washington, obviously with Daryl and Damian and Darwin with us. And then you look at, where we drafted Clyde and what his body of work was in college. We got some high-end players in our room, and I know what the guys that are returning, some guys that we feel comfortable with. But again, you always want to continue to enhance the room and create competition and just raise the level of the room. And I think that's what we have. How it all shakes down ultimately, we're going to let that thing play out on the football field. That's the beauty of our game. We get a chance to go out and let's see what's what. So, and the whole room knows that, man, and these guys looking forward to it. Get along well, very competitive, however, very supportive also. And they know at the end of the day, what they do is going to speak to where their role is when the season gets started. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let's go to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Coach Dealin, thank you so much for your time. Would like to ask, obviously, look, you've gotten a chance to be around Coach Reed as well as Eric Bieniemy, and just by hearing, your last answer, you talk a lot like Eric Bieniemy. Obviously, with the expansion of the Rooney Rule that is put in place, would you like to see yourself have an opportunity as an offensive coordinator in the near future? Now that you have a Super Bowl title underneath your belt.
Without a doubt, you get into this because you see yourself continuing to build, do the job that you're doing at a high level and put yourself in a position to continue to advance. So, yes, that's something, that I, coming to the NFL, that's what my thought was to begin with. Come in, learn in the great circumstance, pick Coach EB's mind and Coach Reed's mind and just kind of see how the kingdom operates, which I've been very impressed, obviously. Won a Super Bowl, just continue to advance myself while at the same time helping our overall cause stores win it, going back and winning another Super Bowl. So, yes, make a long story short, that's what I'm in this for. So I want to continue to challenge myself and continue to put myself in the best situation to take my career to the next level.
Let's go to BJ Kissel. Go ahead, BJ.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time. And my question's a little bit different, not necessarily on the professional side, but more on the personal side. I think most people on the call probably saw the E60 documentary that you did a few years ago that won a sports Emmy. I'm just curious, how things have changed for you and the relationship that you have just with your family since that story has come out, now that we're a couple of years removed from everybody kind of learning some personal stuff about you.
Everything's been good. Nothing's, there's been status quo, spending time with the family, obviously not the last few months, but, just building on relationships. Obviously the one with my dad, I'd have had that for a long time. It's just like, easy with him. We kind of think the same and operate the same. Always, talk with him about football, and everything like that. And then obviously, with my mom, just continuing to advance that relationship. And man, it's been all good. Really what my sons, building relationships with them, that's been the thing that I've really been pushing for, because, with them making these connections, with them being older, you still want them to have that connection. So everything's been good. It's been real good.
BG, I think you had a follow-up there. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to, you mentioned your sons, and I know that on social media you see them, all the offers they're getting there putting out. Just how do you kind of take the coaching hat off and put the dad hat on? And how do you deal with that dynamic? Are you the coach, or are you the dad, or you try to play the middle a little bit?
Well, I play the middle, you know, and the thing is, I mean, and I don't want to sound like that typical guy. I mean, you know, when they told me years and years ago that they wanted to play this game, I told them, if you're going to play it, you're going to play it at a high level, you know, and that's just what the expectation is in this house. That if you're going to participate in something, you're going to try to be the best, you know, and those guys have all embraced that, working hard. I mean, my 16-year-old, he's 17-year-old guy, I'm sorry. You know, he just came back from working out and, you know, talking with coaches, and these guys just embracing the whole process, you know, and we sit up and watch tape. We watched some Chiefs tape last night. You know, guys want to sit up and look at individual and different things. So they always doing things to make themselves better. I tell them every day, what are you doing to make yourself better? And one thing I guess I could say in conclusion during this recruiting process for these guys, the feedback I've been getting from coaches has been like, man, you know, these guys are like years ahead of their peers as far as just their demeanor and just their football IQ. So it's been good to watch. It's been fun.
All right, guys, we got time for a couple more. We'll go Sam McDowell, and then Nate, you can close us out. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Coach. We've heard a lot about what you thought of Clyde, but I'm just wondering if you can sort of backtrack to a month ago and just your reaction when you learned that was going to be the pick.
Well, it's funny, you know, we're sitting there, obviously we're at home and the whole thing going on. And as we're getting closer to that pick, you know, we're on the little website that we were on, and I get a call from the draft room. I'm like, oh, shoot. Yeah, I knew it. Wow, it's about to go down. They're calling me in there for something. So, you know, obviously went in there and was excited to hear about Clyde. And I just couldn't stop smiling, you know, because, you know, I've been aware of him, you know, obviously formed a relationship with him, you know, during this whole process, and kind of was even saying to him, not knowing what we're going to do, but was even saying to him, hey, man, you know, we really want you, and I ain't got no control over it, but I'm just was wishful thinking, but just excited to have him, you know, and talk with him every day. And he's somebody who wants information. He wants to be great. I quiz him. I know this virtual circumstance is like starting to wear on guys a little bit. They're ready to go out and do something, you know, so you got to try to keep it as active and engaging as possible, but he's been doing great.
Okay, Nate, you want to close us out?
Yep. Yeah, thanks again. You know, Dylan, you mentioned earlier the idea that you want the running back, and particularly in this offense, the running back does kind of do everything, which I know is much different than like a lot of other NFL systems. In these meetings, because you're looking at film of last year, you're installing new things, how much of this is a full function of, okay, run game, pass pro, and receiving game? How much of the breakdown has really happened throughout this remote virtual period to where you guys can sort of evaluate everything at that position?
Well, I mean, it's all encompassing. So as we go through and through the phases of the off season, I mean, you when we spent a week just on a run game, we spent a week on pass protection, we spent another couple of days on routes, you know. So I mean, it's very important, you know, that we go through those. And what I do is I give the guys an opportunity to speak to it. You know, you want these guys engaged. So, hey man, run it down for me, Damien. What do you think about this? So these guys will talk about their own positives and negatives. They'll talk about the coaching points, because I want them to be engaged with me. I don't want to be like, hey, here's what you do. These guys will talk about, hey, coach, I really like the technique we're doing. It worked. I need to be more consistent with it, different things like that. You know, so, I mean, it's something where you want the guys engaged, but at the same time, we're building, you know, a rapport in that room and building a trust level in that room to say, you know, we want to be, you know, highly successful when we get out there on the field. But so we've been looking at it all. Everything has been blended in there. And obviously with Clyde coming in there, I had to go back and redo that for him. You know, that's the biggest thing right now for him, is we're not, you know, all of them, but with him on the field, learning some of the drills and some of the things we're doing, you know, especially as it relates to pass protection.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us today. Hopefully we get to see you soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Hope everybody stays safe, and let's get this thing back going here soon.